Alright, just to do a quick video. A lot of people watch my channel probably all over this, but just sort of a quick video about how I kind of save a bit of money when I'm walking. Now I walk pretty much 2/3 of the year. I've had to make some changes because I just couldn't afford to keep going. And like buying freeze-dried meals and buying gas cartridges and things like that. So buying these and throwing them away all the time, it just gets very expensive. So what I was going to talk about today was my gas situation, how I cook and how I save a little bit of money, and I'm a little bit more friendly to the environment with my the way I cook my meals on the trail. So on the table here, I've got everything I need to do it, to show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I transfer from one gas container to the other. Now, when I say it's more cost effective, it's because you can buy the big. Now this is MSR gas. This is expensive because I use this in the snow, but I've got a little bit left in this, so I'm going to use it. If you just go to Bunnings or whatever, you can buy the cheaper gas, and then you can refill your little containers that you want to use on your walk for a fraction of the price that would be to buy a little container of this is Jetboil gas. You can refill it from the cheaper stuff from the bigger container. Not only are you not throwing away all these little containers, but it's cheaper as well. Alright, so there's a bit of a process involved in this, and there's a few safety concerns. You've got to be careful with gas, obviously. Refilling these containers. So I'll just go through the safety side of it and how I do it and try and keep it fairly safe. Alright, first things first, you've got to get, so I'm going to be filling into the little container and filling out of this container. So this is the one that's going to be delivering the gas, and this is the one that's going to be receiving the gas. So to make this process work, this container that's going to be delivering has got to be warm, and this container has got to be cold, or this gas cylinder's got to be cold. And normally on a good day, I'd put this out in the sun, but if you turn around, if Sam shows you what I'm looking at, not a lot of sun in Melbourne today. So, I can't chuck it in the microwave, I can't chuck it in the oven. I have thought about it, but the other way I do it is I chuck it in the sink. And this one here, I just chuck it in the freezer for a while. Alright, so we'll go and do that. Okay, so all I do is chuck one in the freezer. Well, if I'm going to fill 5 of them, I'll put 5 in at once. Chuck one in the freezer for a little while. I'll time it. And the one that's going to be delivering the gas, I've prepared some hot water in the sink. And I just sit it in the sink for a while. Alright, and that's all we do now. We wait, we come back in a few minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. So I'll dig this one out of hot water. And dig my little one out of the cold water, and we'll go and start transferring. Okay, so the scales. So you want to be careful you don't overfill these. So they weigh about 210 grams when they're full. So I put them on a scale before I fill them. So that's 150 grams, 151. And as I fill them, I write the weight on the bottom as to what I fill them to. But yeah, if you overfill them, you'll deform the canister and you can get in all sorts of trouble. So this is the little device you've got to buy. It's got little arrows on saying which is inlet and which is outlet. You can get these on Amazon. You can get them online from numerous places. This one hasn't got a name. I can't remember the name of it. So obviously I'm screwing the delivery side in here. And the one that I want, the hot one, the one that I want to take it out of, So it was the receiving side on the bottom, the cold one, and the delivery side's on the top. Now you want to do this outside where there's some fresh air. So now I'll open this little valve. Now, there's a little bit of trial and error in this because you don't really want to overfill it, but there's no way of telling without uncoupling the bottom one to see what you've actually got in there. So turn the scales back on, keeping in mind 210, 215 is about full. That's 188 grams. So I don't know if we can get that on, if we got that on video or not. So I could probably put a little bit more in there.
183.
183, yeah. I might put a little bit more in there. I don't like to fill them back up to, I like to keep them at about 90%. So around 200 is what I'm aiming for. That'll give me about 7 nights with one of these little canisters. That'll do, I reckon that'll be close enough. Some -3 for some reason. Okay, so let's see what we got. 199, perfect. That's what I want. So now what I do is I grab the marker pen, and on the bottom of the canister here, I just write 199. Now I do this because I only like to refill these canisters maybe 4 or 5 times. There is valves and things, and I just don't think you can refill them forever. So every time I ride on it, I know I've refilled it 1 or 2 times. So the Spalding one there is one refill. This is the second refill. This 199. All right. Now, so that's about it. That 200 grams will get me through about 7 or 8 days, like I said, in the bush, and that, yeah, is way more cost effective than buying these from new. What you can do now, also what I do with these big canisters when I finish, is I chuck them in the recycling bin. Now to do that, I've got a tool that I haven't got on me that screws into the, I'm not going to obviously do it with this one anyway because it's still full. Well, it's still about that full. I've got a tool that screws into the thread on the top here and punctures the can and gets rid of any excess gas, obviously when it's almost empty. And that way you can just throw it into your recycling bin at home and get rid of it safely. Obviously don't throw these into the recycling bins if they haven't been punctured. All right. I hope that's interesting to someone. But yeah, it's one of the ways I save a little bit of money when I'm now walking all the time. And also, it's a little bit more friendly for the environment, I think, than just buying little containers all the time and throwing them away. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.